What do we have for Sag at the foundation of the reading, please? Two of Pentacles, Capricorn energy at the foundation of the reading, Sag. Now, this is very interesting because the opening message I have, and I actually wrote this one down. I was hiking through the desert yesterday when this came to me. And the line that I wrote down is, angels are in the field, the crow brings the message. And then sure enough, right there. See the crow on this Two of Pentacles? It's like it's bringing you something. Now, this Two of Pentacles here is showing us that you're between something, right? And whenever I see this Two of Pentacles here with this figure eight, it's like you're between cycles. And then we have the sheep back there, so let's say sheeple. It's like you have broken free from something, and now the crow is bringing you this message that you're going to use to step into this new cycle. And the phrase that I wrote down, angels are in the field, is all connected to what I feel is surrounding you right now. It's like you have put some sort of work into elevating your life, Sag, and I feel a lot of it has to do with the fact that you have stopped letting other people influence your moves, or you have just stopped looking for other people's approval. You know, this is something that all of us face at some point in our life when we're younger and we're growing up. We really just want to be accepted, for the most part, by our family, the people who are the authority in our life. But it takes growing up before we actually realize that trying to actually get approval or acceptance from these people is in direct opposition with our path. Because let's face it, not all of the authority in every single one of our lives is in support of us aligning with our highest good. A lot of us here inside this collective were actually incarnated into families where we had to break some sort of generational conditioning. It's like you were a kind of undercover spy that was sent down from the divine to be born into this family because there was a lot of generational karma that was being pushed through the family lineage, generation after generation. But then you come along and you break the chains. You say, hey, you know what? This isn't for me. I'm not living this way. I'm carving out my own path. And that's exactly what I'm getting with this Two of Pentacles. But I feel that for the most part, really depending on where you are on this timeline, a lot of you are through this or you're preparing to step through this energy. Now, the Two of Pentacles, by definition, speaks about you adapting to this new beginning, to this new timeline. And I feel that a lot of you are in the preparation stages and getting yourself together to be able to start walking down this path. It's to say that in 2026, you're going to be implementing a plan in your life that is going to see you succeeding in this space, in this new energy, in this new timeline that I'm picking up here for all of you. Spirit, what do we have at the sacral, please? I can't even make it up. Card 0, the Fool, okay? The Fool represents a new beginning. Literally followed what we just said. You're preparing to step into this new beginning. And this Fool card is at that sacral position. Now, the sacral is all connected to your passion and your creativity. So for a lot of you, you're going to start going after things that I feel that you are holding yourself back from to maybe appease others or to maybe live inside of a box that you thought would make other people happy. And finally, you've just had this epiphany, this kind of wake-up call, and you're saying no more. Because what you are starting to realize is that no matter what you do, you can't make these opposing forces happy. It's a perpetual daily task to try and live up to their expectations of how they think you should be living your life. Now, if it's not your family, okay, if it's not some sort of authority figures in your life, it could just be societal norms. And again, this is something that we all face, right? Are we going to live by society's norms, or are we going to carve out our own path and do things a little bit different, right? Be a trailblazer. That's what this energy is right here. This is trailblazer energy. And not only is it coming through intuitively, but it's in the illustrations, right? There's the sheeple, and here you are being a trailblazer. And then right on the bottom of the deck, we have the devil, okay? So Again, unbelievable, all right? Because the devil is all about bondage. This is what you're breaking free of right now, the societal norms or what other people really expect from you, right? It just falls under this umbrella of devil energy, right? It's an energy of restriction. Self-restriction is really what it comes down to, because what you're starting to realize is that you don't have to do anything. You're the one who calls the shots here. It's an Eight of Swords kind of energy, right? Eight of Swords energy is somebody who allows themselves to stay inside of a space, but it's self-imposed. They can remove themselves from that space whenever they want. And I feel a lot of you are getting to that point now, like, you know what? I don't need to put up with this. I don't need to do this. I don't need to constantly chase an idea of what other people have for me because I just want to make other people happy and feel accepted in some capacity. And Sag, all I can tell you is that's where your greatest breakthroughs are going to begin unfolding in your life, is on the other side of all of that. And you know, in a lot of cases, you don't even know you're really doing this until you start saying no. And what I mean by that is you could be falling in line, so to speak, right? Because you just think it's the right thing to do. But once you've spent enough time inside that space and you're feeling increasingly less happy, right? Like nothing is really unfolding the way you have always seen it for your life. Do you actually begin to do something about it? Simply put, these sort of cyclical cycles that we can find ourselves in can fly under the radar because they become a huge part of our everyday waking life. It's just a part of our process until we step back and say, wait a second, what am I doing here? Right? You see, life can become very mechanical. And this is why you always hear messages inside the spiritual community about grounding, getting out into nature, getting away from the noise so you can really check in with yourself. That's how you do it, right? Meditation, prayer, giving yourself these much needed breaks from the world around us so you can just make sure that you're still on the right path. Because a lot of the times when we take those little breaks, we start to see something that we didn't see before. Like, whoa, I sort of veered off course a bit here. I don't know what this direction is I'm going in. Who are these people that are surrounding me? Why am I listening to them? Right? This is when you start to have all of these great realizations about your life and the trajectory you're on. So I feel for a lot of you, there's a message there as well. If you're feeling confused, well, this is how you can begin to unravel yourself from that confusion by taking a simple timeout. All right, we're switching decks. What do we have at the solar plexus, please, Spirit? Nine of Cups, Pisces energy right there at the solar plexus. Now, the Nine of Cups is an energy of fulfillment. It's an energy of you getting what you want, but it's only because you've started to listen to what it actually is that you want, right? I mean, that sounds simple enough, right? But going back to what I just said, sometimes it's hard to see what we want when we're so busy doing what everybody else wants us to do, right? We forget, we get off track, we kind of lose our way. The everyday grind of life is all-consuming, and we're being bombarded from every single direction. It's like our lives become more about making everybody else happy than making ourselves happy. So Sag, having said that, I feel that 2026 is gearing up to be a year where you make yourself happy. And Sag, if people call you selfish for doing that, so be it. They're just really showing you their true colors, right? Because I know, personally, if I had a friend or a loved one around me who said that they needed to do something like this for themselves because they feel so pressured by their environment, I would applaud them. I would give them a hug and I would say, awesome. Go get it, right? See, that's what we're looking for now. We need to start being able to decipher who is for us and who is not. And sadly, Sag, the more empowered you become, the more you say no, the more you start going after what you want, what you desire, the more people begin to fall away from your life. And the more you see who they really were in your life to begin with. Nine of Cups, this is you, standing on business for you and being very confident while doing so. And the illustration also shows us a very clear depiction of this, okay? The cups represent emotional balance, okay? And here you are, right? No, I'm good. No, thank you. Oh, no, that doesn't work on me anymore, right? This is what this energy right here gives. And it's this energy right here that leads to the great blessings. The Nine of Cups is one of the most abundant cards in the tarot. See, abundance is that feeling that comes from within first, and then it starts to show itself in our environment. We start to reflect it all around us. We start to build a life that is based off of this newfound sense of emotional balance and security. And Sag, this is when you begin to align yourself with your actual dreams. This is how it's done. It's not achieved when you want to make everybody else happy. You don't reach that space by constantly wearing yourself down for other people and have nothing left to give back to yourself. And given the fact that Nine of Cups is right there at the solar plexus, is doubling down on this newfound sense of confidence that I feel you're going to be embodying moving forward into this new year, Sag. Now, some of you are obviously still in the stage of reflection. You're still going through this process. You're not quite there yet, right? But it could be that this message here gives you that much needed push, that encouragement. I just heard very clearly, all you need to do is say yes when the universe asks. So take that as you will. Spirit, what do we have at the heart position, please? Empress, Libra, Taurus, Venusian energy right at the heart. Now, the Empress is all the queens in one. Genders here don't matter. But it's just telling us that you have balanced multiple sectors of your life and you're preparing to, again, align yourself for great abundance here. Now, the Empress, I just mentioned that the Nine of Cups is one of the most abundant cards in the tarot. The Empress is the most abundant card in the tarot, and it's right there at that heart chakra. And it takes me back to what I said about you manifesting your dreams, right? Your true heart's desires, what you want. That's how you achieve this abundance. It's not had by doing what other people expect of you. And you know, a lot of you, this really does come down to generational conditioning. Well, they did it before you. Now you have to carry that down. You have to carry the torch. But the divine is saying to you, hey, you know what? That family you were incarnated into lost their way a long time ago. They have no idea what they're doing. They're just passing down the same old belief systems that do not serve the greater good of their family lineage. They're old, outdated belief systems that should have been eradicated decades ago. I just heard you are their last hope. And Sag, the hardest part about all this is that you're going to have to accept that this is a path that you have to walk down with little to no support. I would lean more towards no support because, look, you're going against a whole entire belief system that many other people that came before you subscribed to. So who do you think you are, right? That's basically the general consensus here. And you can't expect them to understand the guidance that you're getting from the divine. You know, it's one of these sorts of messages where the divine is saying, we have chosen you to do this. You are the black sheep in the family. You can't say that to the family, right? Because they'll laugh in your face. Because you're just little old you. They don't know you any other way. They don't know you to be great, and they never expect you to be great, right? This is just something that most families have to deal with. And this is a story that is as old as time, right? This is what Jesus went through. In his own hometown, he was just Mary and Joseph's son from down the street, so to speak, right? He didn't have his success until he went out into the world. He had to get out of his own hometown. And this is exactly what I'm getting here for you. Now, that leads me to some other messages that I was getting here. And one of those messages was sometimes the only way out is to leave the people who never wanted you to rise. And it's because you have broken what everybody else surrendered to. It's like they normalize these patterns, right? I mean, you know, if you want to go a layer deeper and call this a kind of generational curse, you know, that's fine too. But generational curses have spirits attached to them. And sadly, these family members, these people who came before you, bow to those spirits. They do what they say, right? And now you come along refusing to bow to those spirits that they actually normalized. This is really you walking away from everything that has destroyed all of them, right? It's like they just can't see it from this different vantage point, this different perspective. It's like they're incarnated into these life cycles and then they're out of here, right? All they have done is just perpetuated the same generational karma that everybody that came before them also perpetuated. Now, everything I've pretty much said up until this point is a crash course to what generational conditioning, generational karma, or generational curses actually looks like for all of you that may not have known what that actually meant, right? Well, that's it. And for you, being the one that was chosen to break these chains finds your success on the other side of this. This is the deal that you made before you came here. Sag, we're going to send you down there. It's going to be real difficult. It's not going to be easy. But we're choosing you because you were the one to do it. And on the other side of that, you are going to have monumental success and you're going to be able to manifest these dreams into your life. But this is what you have to do first. And this is what you're going to have to maintain on the other side of all this. And Sag, while I'm saying this, I'm getting an intense itching right here on my right palm. Okay, so I feel that we're doubling down on this abundant energy that I'm picking up here, right? Abundance, palm itch, okay? So which means that you're going to be blessed with something, gifted with something. You know, an itchy palm is a sign of money coming to you. You know, some of you are in situations you don't know how you're going to get out of them, and the divine is saying, hey, we already have your exit strategy, but this is what you need to do to be able to get there. And then right on the bottom of the deck, 6 of Pentacles. I mean, again, I can't even make it up. Okay, look, there it is. The divine giving you money, right? Literally in the palm of your hand. And the scales right there, right? Balancing the scales, which is this whole entire message. Spirit, what do we have at the throat, please? 6 of Swords, Aquarius energy at the throat. Okay, the 6 of Swords energy here is speaking about your rite of passage, okay? You are moving on from this old cycle. And to bring this down to reality, 6 of Swords is an energy of relocation. It can speak about movement, travel. So take that all as it fits. But I just feel that the energy is moving with you, okay? And see how you're getting on this boat here, and whenever I see the child, I like to say that that's your inner child, right? And here's the ferryman, you know, representative from the divine, helping you on the boat. And then there's an island over there, right? And there's a sun above that island. It's like that's where you're going, right? You're becoming an island, which is just another way of saying that you're not going to allow other people to access your energy because you know better now. You know to even give individuals a second of your time is allowing them into your space to try and pull down the foundation that you are in the process of building in your life right now. You know better. You know that any individuals connected to this old cycle in your life don't wish you well. In fact, all they're looking for is a way to weasel into your life to see how much destruction and chaos they can whip up. See, they know these old parts of you that you have since evolved on from, but that doesn't stop them from trying to trigger those parts, right? I just heard pulling on your heartstrings. Now, this can speak about trying to trigger emotional reactions out of you, right? Things that would cause them to point the finger at you and say, look, you haven't changed. You're exactly like you always were, okay? And Sag, really, the only way that you can guard yourself against all of this is to simply not open up the door to it. And that 6 of Swords is right there at that throat position, okay? I just got some ringing in my ear right as I said that. So right between not opening up the door to it and then the 6 of Swords, which is at this throat position, they want to emphasize what I'm about to say here, okay? Now, I feel that individuals think that they need some sort of closure from you, or it just feels like one of these situations where you deal with an individual and you make the decision to move on with your life away from a certain person or the way they treat you. And maybe you just let it be the way it is, you know? It's almost like having to explain yourself and then the other person meeting you with gaslighting or some sort of lie is something that you just don't even want to put yourself through. And you don't have it in you to even argue with those people anymore, right? You know what they're all about. You know that that's what they would actually do, right? The gaslighting of, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, or you're overreacting, or what's wrong with you? You need to go speak to somebody, right? You're just not even putting yourself in the position to hear any of that anymore. You know what you know, you feel what you feel, and it's beyond words. You feel something on a soul level now, and that's all the confirmation you need. And that's exactly what I'm getting with the 6 of Swords at the throat. Nothing needs to be said. The answer is in the silence. What do we have at the third eye, please, for Sag? There's the Eight of Swords, like we spoke about earlier on in the reading. Gemini energy at the third eye. Now, the Eight of Swords here, like I mentioned earlier on in the reading, it's a self-imposed restriction, right? This is you understanding now that any communication, any sort of words that may be spoken, all have one goal in mind, and it's to put you right back into this mental prison, okay? See, right now for you, Sag, and moving forward into this new year, it's all about self-preservation, discernment, and being very deliberate with all of your moves and actions right now. Just really trusting yourself and going after it, right? No more hesitating. Things don't have to be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. In fact, those mistakes are more beneficial than a lot of us give them credit for. Because I always say that making mistakes sort of narrows the possibilities, right? Oh, well, I know that didn't work. Now I have less options to choose from. So this can also speak about making sure that you're always getting up and charging forward, right? Not allowing life circumstances to keep you down, right? They may knock you down, but keeping you down is a whole different thing. And that Eight of Swords is also at that third eye position. And I just heard gaslighting again, right? So it's like, here you are, getting downloads from the divine, right? Third eye is all connected to your intuition. You intuitively know there's something you need to do, a direction you need to move in. But then these energies come along and say, oh, what are you talking about? You know, that's crazy. What is this, right? It's like they mock your intuition. They mock your inner compass. They mock your connection with Source, which causes you to then find yourself in this Eight of Swords energy. You begin to feel like the world is closing in around you, because it kind of is. It's like they're trying to put you in a box. It's like they're trying to tell you that you're wrong for feeling the way you do, right? That always blows my mind. How can you tell somebody they're wrong for feeling the way they do? They feel it from the inside. Yeah, I'm hearing again here, you're breaking free of a very ancient cyclical pattern, cyclical cycle, just generational conditioning that is just from hundreds of years ago. It's like it's ancient. It's repressive spiritually. So we can't see this on the surface, right? It's just something that is behind the scenes, so to speak. I'm also hearing something for a lot of you out there as well in regards to listening to people give their opinions or guidance on areas of your life that they don't even have sorted out themselves. So an example of this would be, let's say a mother and daughter, right? The mother's single. She's been divorced maybe a couple of times, and she's not the biggest fan of men, okay? And now the daughter is a young woman, and the daughter is following in the mother's footsteps only because she's listening to the mother's guidance in regards to being in relationships, which, let's face it, the mother is probably not the best person to be taking guidance from. She's not even in a relationship herself, and she's not the biggest fan of the opposite sex. Now, this is just a very basic example of what I'm getting here. This can show up with males and many other different situations here, but the point of this message is just to be careful who you're taking advice from, right? Look at their life and see if they have that actual thing they're trying to give advice to you about sorted out for themselves. And then also take a step back and think about what kind of person would allow themselves to give advice in an area where they shouldn't be giving advice. You know, some people get so caught up in their own conditioning that they don't even know that they're doing this, right? But that doesn't make it okay. And it doesn't mean that you need to feed their demons, so to speak, because that's what it is. You're feeding something inside of them, a sort of parasite that now wants to feed off of you and your pain and suffering and continue that exact same generational pattern. See, that right there is actually a perfect example of how these patterns work. What do we have at the crown, please, Spirit? Six of Cups, Scorpio energy at the crown. Now, Sag, what I'm getting with this Six of Cups here has to do with this generational karma and conditioning that I'm picking up on. The Six of Cups can really speak about those who came before you. There's a lot of nostalgia in this energy here, but it's a bit haunting, to be honest with you. And what I mean by that is it's like a generational pattern, generational conditioning, a generational curse, so to speak, that is trying to hold on to you for dear life. It wants you to remember when. It wants you to live out the same old cyclical cycles that all of those that came before you lived out. And I really feel that you're being given a different vantage point to be able to recognize this, Sag. It's like the divine has given you a new sight to see this. It's like you're able to see things in a way that other people in your family maybe don't. And once you have seen these sorts of things, it's impossible to go back. But that doesn't mean that it's easy to create boundaries with certain individuals that just don't get it. But it is absolutely necessary, Sag. And given the fact this Six of Cups is following this Eight of Swords, it's given an interesting message, because here you are, right? You've gotten the memo, you're on your way, but then they come through these gaslighting campaigns to try and pull you back into this cycle, right? It's like when I see the Six of Cups in a reading like this, it's like that haunted movie theater, right? It's like you step back in to the same old, tired, worn out script. This is a haunting. And that's what you've broken free from. That is the curse. What do we have at the foundation, please, Spirit? Wow. Hermit. Virgo energy at the foundation. Now, this Hermit card speaks about an individual who is going the opposite way that the divine intended them to go. This is like Hermit in its shadow, okay? It's somebody who's withdrawing and just giving up and submitting to this generational karma and conditioning. Now, just to refocus ourselves here, again, the whole reason why this message is even coming through, because of what's at stake here. A lot of you have been praying for something. A lot of you have been trying to manifest something. And you've reached this point on your path where the divine is saying, okay, we've got it for you. Here it is. But this is what you need to do. You need to get away from this situation. You need to get away from these people. You need to get rid of this lack mindset, whatever it is for you, right? So that way, when this manifestation comes through, you don't lose it. See, when you're manifesting with the universe is looking through the passage of time. Okay, if we bring this forward for Sag right now, where will they be with this manifestation a year from now if they stay in the same environment, if they still have the same mindsets, they don't do this particular healing on themselves, right? And maybe they look down the passage of time and it's like you've lost it, right? Because there's somebody around you who is influencing you in a way that doesn't allow you to grow this manifestation. It's like they can't share in on the manifestation because it will slip through your fingers if they're around. You know, this is something that we always hear in readings, right? That person has to go. You'll lose the manifestation. And that's exactly what I'm getting here. Now, if it's not a person, maybe it's an environment. For a lot of people, it's a mindset. It's a behavioral pattern, something that's just not serving you, something that you need to sacrifice. You know, and this is also one of these moments when, again, you're manifesting something and it shows up and you didn't understand the full scope of what it is that you would have to do to be able to step into this new timeline. The universe is saying, hey, we can do this, but you got to say goodbye to this, that, or the other. And maybe that's not something you were fully aware of. So this process right here is the universe trying to show you how this all works. It's like they're showing you behind the curtain. Okay, this is why we need to remove you from these spaces. This is why you need to get rid of this mindset, this behavioral pattern, because it's actually in direct opposition with what it is you want to manifest. This is real manifestation right here on this table. This is how it's done for real. What do we have at the sacral, please, Spirit? Wow. Wheel of Fortune, Sag, that is your energy right there at the sacral position. Now, the Wheel of Fortune from this deck is an energy that is highlighting the negative external forces in your environment that are keeping you energetically stuck in a rut. You know, if we wanted to simplify everything we're saying here, it's like these energies bring bad luck. Okay, I mean, that's the simplest way we can put this. That mindset brings bad luck. That behavioral pattern brings bad luck. That environment you're living in brings bad luck. That person brings bad luck. So you decide what that is for you, and then decide if it's worth sacrificing exactly what you have always envisioned for your life. And, you know, this Wheel of Fortune's right underneath this Fool, right? So here you are, this new beginning. And you don't have a lot with you, right? You just have a little pack there, right? It's like you're just taking what you need, what is going to serve you. And then right on the bottom of the deck, the devil, right? I always get a kick out of this devil card because it's almost like he's waving to you, right? He's like, all right, see ya. I always knew you'd escape here, right? And as we mentioned earlier on in the reading, when we saw the devil from one of these other decks, that's that energy of bondage, self-restriction, right? So it's just confirming to us that everything you're dealing with here falls under the umbrella of the devil energy, right? The devil energy, again, is just anything that is in opposition with you reaching your highest potential. What do we have at the solar plexus, please, Spirit? Ace of Cups, water energy at the solar plexus underneath that Nine of Cups. Now, this Ace of Cups here, this is an energy of emotional exhaustion. It's just like an energy of being completely drained. It's like you don't have anything left to pour into yourself, which goes all the way back to what I said about trying to live up to other people's expectations for you, always trying to please other people, right? And then at the end of it all, you don't have anything left to pour into what it is you're trying to manifest. And this is you saying no to this now. You're like, you know what? I'm not getting anywhere with this. It's not working for me anymore. It's unsustainable. I'm constantly pouring in, and nobody else or nothing else is pouring into me. What do we have at the heart, please, Spirit? Okay, we'll start on this side of the card first. We have two sides. All right, so this is the Hangman, Pisces energy. It says spiritual troubles right there. Now, the Hangman from this deck is the energy of the martyr, right? It's an energy of people around you having ulterior motives, and the ulterior motive is to keep you from your highest potential. It's like they want you being a victim of circumstance. And it could also be that a lot of people that came before you have that victim mentality. They're always pointing the finger at other people. They're not taking responsibility for themselves. You know, it's one thing to be victimized by somebody and to marinate in that space. And it's another thing to say, you know what? I can't do anything about what so-and-so may have done to me to create this difficulty in my life. But what I can do is stand up and say no more and refuse to be a victim of their actions or behavior towards me. This is one of these energies where it's like somebody victimizes you and then they say to you, oh, you're such a victim, right? But now, because we're flipping all of this around, you're no longer accepting that. You're not a victim. And a part of not being that victim is not allowing this energy to access you to perpetuate that energy of victimization in your life any longer. You know, a lot of the times people will victimize you because they want you to be a victim, because it's the ultimate form of disempowerment. Eight of Swords. See, the Eight of Swords energy, again, is, oh, woe is me. This is what happened to me, me. Right? That's what that energy is. That's not what we're doing here, okay? We're saying, oh yeah? Well, how about this? How about if I remove myself from this space so you can't feed off of my hurt and pain any longer, because I'm not subscribing to that person that you want me to be because it makes you feel better about yourself. And then we have the Knight of Cups, perception and revelation, okay? So Knight of Cups is a very intuitive energy, but it's just really speaking about you understanding this now, right? You can't go up against these energies. There's no debating with these energies. There's no discussion to be had here. It's just a matter of saying, you know what? No more. I'm not doing this. I'm carving out my own path. I'm going my own way. There is too much at stake here. I'm not willing to sacrifice this for all of this garbage. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? Page of Wands, fire energy underneath that Six of Swords at the throat. Says right there, propagation of light confounds the wicked and slanders, saves from enemies. Now, the Page of Wands is speaking about a new beginning, which has taken us all the way back to this Fool card here. It's like we've gone full circle here as we're approaching the end of the reading. Now, the Page of Wands is a very enthusiastic, very passionate, very creative energy. So it goes back to the message that I gave with that Fool at that sacral position, right? Sacral is all connected to your passion and creativity. It's the fire in your belly, and that's exactly what this Page of Wands here is. And see how you're holding the torch? It's like you're carving out a new path. You're going to hand down the torch to those that follow behind you. And depending on your circumstances, if there isn't going to be other people that follow behind you, if you don't have kids or you don't plan on having kids, it could just be that you become an example to other people that come on your path. I just heard you are a shining light for others on how this is done. What do we have in the third eye, please, Spirit? Emperor. So we have a pair, Empress and Emperor. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. The Emperor speaks about structure. The Empress, again, speaks about abundance. Together, they're unstoppable. And you're incorporating both of these energies into this new beginning. But it all comes down to understanding, right? Your understanding of how this is all going down. And the Emperor is also an energy of putting together a strategic plan. It's all about structure. It's like the divine showing you all of this, what's been happening. And you say, okay, I see now. I understand this now. I think I get it. So in order to meet my Empress, so to speak, which it could be metaphorical or it could be literal, male or female, right? You know, there could be a lot of things that are at stake here, Sag. You know, breaking free from the bondage of this generational karma not only aligns you with success and abundance in your life, but depending on your situation, there could be a person connected to that as well. And it wouldn't surprise me. It's like when you start moving like this, you're putting a different energy out into the collective. So of course, you're going to align yourself with like-minded people. And really, it makes perfect sense when you think about the message that I gave in regards to the mother and the daughter, right? It's like, how can you expect to meet anybody when you have somebody like that around you? What do we have at the crown to close out the reading for Sag, please, Spirit? Wow. Confirmation. Page of Cups. Water energy at the crown. Okay, so not only do we have this passionate, creative new beginning, right? Which could speak about whatever it is you're building, right? A vision, a career, a project. But on the other side of this Emperor, you have an emotional new beginning with the Page of Cups. So this just confirmed what we said. The Page of Cups is also an energy of synchronicity, and there is a lot of synchronicity in this reading. Spirit has given us multiple confirmations on messages that I delivered before the cards even came out. So, Sag, in closing, there's a lot of positivity surrounding you right now. Okay, but it's on the other side of whatever these cycles are that Spirit is trying to assist you in closing out right now. Everything that you have been wanting to manifest into your life wants you to. From abundance to a new partner to new soul tribes, it's all here. So wherever this message meets you on your path right now, Sag, I hope that it serves you with some useful messages to help navigate this current season of your life to be able to get to this new beginning. So with that, I will leave it here. All right, Sag, that's what I have for all of you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Take care.